Hello learners, today we are going to learn a new concept, that is law of diminishing marginal utility. In our previous class we have already read about utility, how to measure utility, total utility, marginal utility and their relationship. In today's lesson we are going to learn the new psychological law, that is called law of diminishing marginal utility. The law expresses an important relationship between the units of commodities consumed and the level of satisfaction that we have received from the consumption. So before entering to this law, let's take an example. Suppose you are returning from your games and you are quite hungry while returning home. And after reaching home, you found some pieces of Lotto Chocopai lying on your kept on your dining table. So all of a sudden, being hungry, you are sitting on the table and starts consuming the first piece of Lotto Chocopai. It's yummy. Now you are going to consume the next units of Lotto Chocopai, and gradually you are consuming one upon one, and you are reaching to the fourth unit when you have reached your capacity. And after consuming 4 units, your mother enters to the dining and she insists you to go for another piece, although she does not know how many pieces you have consumed. So you are consuming fifth piece of Lotto Choco Pie, although you are not intending to it, but still, as your beloved mother has said you, so you consume. Now, in this meantime, your naughty sister enters to the dining room and she insists, Vaya, for the sake of me, consume one more piece. Although you are filled, but you cannot dishearten your sister, so you are consuming the sixth unit. On consuming the sixth unit, you are feeling that your tummy is getting tight, some discomfort you are feeling. So, dear learners, we started from a stage when this Lotto Chocopai was yummy, and now we are feeling pain in our tummy at the sixth unit. So, this journey from the yummy to a tightened tummy, it is being explained with a psychological law of consumption, that is law of diminishing marginal utility by H.H. Goshen. And what this law is all about? The law says that as we consume more and more units of a commodity, of a commodity, the utility derived from each successive units goes on decreasing. Goes on decreasing. I am repeating the law again. The law states that as we consume more and more units of a commodity, the utility derived from each successive unit goes on decreasing. This law was propounded by H.H. Goshen, a German economist. Now, all these laws are based upon certain conditions, which in economics we are calling as assumptions. So let's see what are the assumptions based on which this law is operating. So first assumption is that cardinal measurement of utility. Already we have heard and learned earlier that cardinality means anything that can be measured in numbers, that is called cardinal. So here we are assuming that the degree of satisfaction that we are receiving can be measured in a number, means the unit that is giving me higher satisfaction, we can assign a greater value, and the unit that is giving us a lesser satisfaction, we will assign it a lesser value or lesser utils. Now, second assumption is that monetary measurement of utility. It is assumed that the utility can be measured with money, and the marginal utility of money is also assumed to be constant. And third one is consumption of a reasonable quantity. When you are returning from your game, you are quite thirsty and you wish to drink water, and your sister comes to you, gives water in a spoon. Do you think you will be feeling happy? When you are in need of a glass of water, your sister is giving a spoon of water, you are taking one spoon, then another spoon your sister is giving. Do you think this one spoon of water after another spoon will help you reducing your thirsty? Obviously no, this will increase. Here the law will not operate, means the successive spoon of water will raise your thirsty and will increase your utility. So here the consumption unit should be reasonably a glass, not a spoon. So here the assumption is that the consumption unit should be a reasonable quantity. And the next one is continuous consumption. Suppose you are coming from your game at 5 o'clock. You are consuming one piece of Lotto Choco Pie. And at 5:30, you are consuming the second piece of the Lotto Choco Pie. We should not take it granted that the piece of Lotto Choco Pie consumed at 5:30 will give you a lesser satisfaction. Why? It is only because there is a time lag between 5 to 5:30 of 30 minutes. During this 30 minutes lapse, the second unit of Lotto Choco Pie may give us a satisfaction that is more than the previous one, may be equal to the previous one, or may be less than to the first unit of Lotto Choco Pie. So here the basic assumption is that the consumption units should be continued one after the other. It should not be discontinuous. Then only this law will be validated. Now coming to the fifth point, independent utilities. Suppose I am consuming Lotto Choco Pie as well as Golgappa. So the utility derived from Golgappa has no relation to the utilities derived from Lotto Choco Pie. Hence, the utilities of Lotto Choco Pie are independent from the utility derived from Golgappa. So here, different set of goods will have different utilities. That is the reason we have assumed that utility is independent. And the last one is that is the rational consumer. The person under our study is a rational consumer. Means a rational consumer is a calculative consumer. Is a consumer with prudence who calculates every profit and loss and assumes to know at which point of consumption he will be maximizing his satisfaction. So here, based upon all these assumptions, this law of diminishing marginal utility stands. Now we can explain this law of diminishing marginal utility, that when we consume more and more units of a commodity, the successive units gives us lesser and lesser satisfaction with the help of a table. As we have discussed earlier that when you return from your game, you started consuming your first unit of Lotto Choco Pie. When you consume your first unit of Lotto Choco Pie, you are receiving satisfaction equal to 50 utils. Now your question may be arising, sir, why you are giving 50 utils? Why not 100 utils? Why not 1000 utils? So please go back to the previous class where we have discussed that util is an imaginary unit of measuring utility. Util is an imaginary unit of measuring utility and it is a psychological unit and it is subjective. So when I am consuming a piece of Lotto Choco Pie, I may be receiving 50 utils of satisfaction, but a person who is hungry for last 2 days, when he consumes the same piece of Lotto Choco Pie, may receive 1000 utils of satisfaction. So it is varying from person to person. So I have started with 50 utils, that upon consuming the first unit of Lotto Choco Pie, I am receiving 50 utils of satisfaction. And when I am consuming my second unit, I am consuming lesser to the earlier one, now it is 40 utils. And when I am consuming the third unit, I am again receiving lesser, that is 30 utils. So the third unit is giving me satisfaction equal to 30 utils. And the fourth unit is giving satisfaction is equal to 20 utils. So all these are called as the marginal utilities. When you are talking of marginal utilities, as we have already learned, Marginal means additional. Marginal means additional. So here first unit is giving 50 and the consumption of second unit is giving additional 40. Third unit is giving additional 30. Fourth unit is giving additional 40. And when your mother is insisting you for the fifth one, although you are not intending, still you are consuming. And here it is giving you no satisfaction. No satisfaction and even no dissatisfaction. And when your sister insists you to consume the sixth one, when your tummy is almost filled and now you are feeling discomfort, that a discomfort is indicated with a negative sign, that is disutility, means utility of -10. So here upon consumption of the sixth util, you may suffer from something negative, you may even in search of hospitals. So this is, rather than giving you satisfaction, this is giving you discomfort, this is giving you pain. So this is recorded as disutility. Now a question may arise, so when my marginal utility is declining, why I am going for the next one? We have already told that marginal means additional. So we can better understand this with the help of the total concept. Now come here. So when we are coming to this total utility concept, this first unit is giving marginal utility equal to 50 and the total utility is also 50. Now upon consuming the second unit, when we are consuming the second Lotto Choco Pie, we are getting additional 40 utils. Hence our total utility is 50 plus 40 equal to 90. So upon consuming the second, at the end of consuming 2 units of Lotto Choco Pie, our total utility is 90. Now we are going for the third unit of Lotto Choco Pie. Now 90 plus 30, we are coming to 120. So now again total utility is increasing. Now we are going to the fourth unit. So 120 plus 20 is 140. Now we are proceeding to the next one. When we are consuming the fifth unit, our marginal utility is 0. Hence 140 plus 0 is equal to again 140. And if we are consuming the sixth one, this will give us a negative utility of 10. Hence 140 plus minus 10 would be equal to 130. So our total utility is declining, is decreasing. Now what we need to note is here the behavior of our total utility. Total utility is increasing but at a decreasing rate or diminishing rate. How we are knowing that it is diminishing? Now see here. So the first unit is giving us 50 and from here coming to here, first here the growth is 50 and from 50 we are going to 90. So the rate of growth is 40 here. Again we are proceeding to the next. Here the rise is 30. Again we are going to the next level. The rise is 140 minus 120 is 20. And again we are going to the next. 140 minus 140 is equal to 0. This 140 and 140 is constant. So here the total utility is maximum and constant at the fifth unit of consumption where the marginal utility is 0. So looking at this 40, 30, 20, 50, 40, 30 and 20 and 0, our total utility is increasing till here. But the rate of increase is gradually falling and falling. That is the reason we are telling the total utility is diminishing. Now this concept we can show in our diagram. So here, this is the diagram corresponding to this table. Here this is y-axis, this is y-axis, this is x-axis, origin. On the y-axis we have marginal utility and total utility. On the x-axis, units of Lotto Choco Pie consumed. Now, if you look at this, the first rectangle is a pink shaded rectangle, then is a yellow shaded rectangle, then is a green shaded rectangle, and then is a purple shaded rectangle. These rectangles are the marginal utilities of first unit, second unit, third unit, and fourth unit. The first, when you are consuming the first unit of Lotto Choco Pie, it is giving satisfaction equal to 50 utils, and the rectangle is the pink shaded rectangle, which is the biggest one. When we are consuming the second unit of Lotto Choco Pie, it is giving 40 utils, which is equal to the rectangular area shaded in yellow color, which is lesser to the pink one. And when we are consuming the third unit, the marginal utility is equal to the green shaded rectangle, which is lesser to the previous two. And the fourth unit consumption, the purple color rectangle, it is the smallest one among these four. So if we join all these points on the rectangles, then we are getting a line, yellow color line. This curve is our marginal utility curve. This curve is our marginal utility curve. Now, this marginal utility curve intersects x-axis at the fifth unit of consumption, where marginal utility is equal to 0. Before this point, marginal utility is positive and falling. After this point, marginal utility is falling and negative. But a rational consumer will not go beyond 5th unit of consumption, because here we have these utilities and negative utilities. Now, if we project this marginal utility, if we add up, as we know that total utility TU is sum of marginal utilities. Means marginal utility of unit 1, MU unit 2, MU of unit 3, MU of unit 4, and so on, we will be getting total utility. So if we add on, so we have started with unit 1. So here our marginal utility is 50. So our total utility is also starting from here at 50, because we have started our schedule with unit 1. Now, with the second unit of consumption, 50 plus 40, 90. So now, the corresponding line, if we extend, so it is coming here. So now, it is 90. With the third level, 90 plus 30, 120. So if we extend here, it is coming up to 120. And next one is 140. It is here. And the fifth one is giving us 0 marginal utility. So again, the total utility is 140. So here, the total utility is maximum and constant. Marginal utility is 0. Hence, this is the point of satiety. Point of satiety. Point of satiety means the consumer gets maximum satisfaction over here when the marginal utility is equal to 0. So now, with this, we have completed our law for diminishing marginal utility. The law for diminishing marginal utility says, as we consume more and more of a commodity, the utility derived from the successive units goes on decreasing. That with the assumptions laid down here, we have explained this with the help of a table or the schedule, and the same is presented in the diagram here. One thing I wish to add on to here, this law does not say at what rate the marginal utility will decline. Whether it will decline at a increasing rate, it will decline at a decreasing rate, it will be declining at a decreasing rate, this law does not say about. So, dear learners, with this we are winding up this law of diminishing marginal utility, and we will meet in the next video. Till then, thank you. Bye bye.